All right, welcome everybody to Purposeful Patriarchs again. I'm going to basically, I'm your host, Eman, should I say. This is the podcast where we begin to break down things from a historical perspective using reports, academic journals, statistics, the Bible, men's and women's experiences, and also, what's the other one? So I think it's five typical pillars I use. I use the reports, I use the statistics, I use the media, which will be one of these today, the experiences of people, and also the Bible to build as much of a picture of what's going on in society and what's led to the breakdown of families and marriages. So what we're going to do today is we're going to watch a short clip posted on Instagram from Street Hymns on Instagram, and he posted this, and he titled this the first black podcasts, and it's my contention as well that with these discussions have been happening for such a long time, and it's so fascinating that we're still talking about what's all of these issues. So the main premise of today's episode is to talk about the Moynihan report and whether it was debunked. And so let me start off by playing this.
Trying to deny black.
So let's do this. Okay.
The most revealing statements about what the new black man expects from the new black woman came when I met with a group of young unmarried friends.
Our black women, who has been put in this role of aiding white America, white structure, and castrating the black male, has continued doing this. She cannot live with us. It's not that we can't live with her.
Well, why do you say that we are castrating you? You say that you want to be the leaders. Okay, well, what about the black professional woman? Are you saying that there should be no black professional woman? Are you trying to deny black women the right to be creative, the right to function?
We're not asking for you to take a back seat. We're saying that you have got to be astute enough and can view the situation well enough where you just automatically know what your role is and step back. And whenever you want to have that aggressive thing, this is the thing that the young black man today is not going to tolerate. White America has used black women to keep the black male in his place. And you're still aiding it by saying, well, we are qualified, we want to work, we can help.
Okay, how are you going to reprogram men so that they don't let us take over what's supposed to be their responsibility? And men that I have had dealings with, they are perfectly willing to sit back and let us do anything we want to.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will forcefully take what belongs to him, because you know women, as long as we can get, we gonna get.
You don't want to live on the level of income that I can afford you and love me on the basis of that. You want to always be inspired to have all those things that's a part of the great middle class white American society. And because I can't deliver these things to you, you say that you are not a man.
I don't measure a man by how much money he can bring home. I measure a man by how he treats me. Whether when I'm tired and I'm sick and I'm scared, he's there.
For these women, the men are there. But with the feeling of racial pride has come new conflicts and new problems. Across America, they meet to discuss what black awareness means to their families and to them as black women of today.
You know, there are a lot of myths created about the black family. We all recognize that. And one of the most pernicious is the myth of black matriarch.
It was not like
The black woman has not been a matriarch in the sense that it has been defined thus far. In fact, the black woman has been a woman at the head of a household, not by choice, but by necessity. And more often, that's right, and more often than not, she is not a strong, matriarchal, aggressive, domineering figure. She is a woman in search of a man. But this story has not been told. The most revealing statement.
Okay, I'll cut it off there. yeah, really powerful media clip there to kind of explain and show to everybody that this conversation about the role of black men and black women in American society and also in black society has been a conversation that's been raging on for over 60 years at minimum in terms of these clips. But as we've looked at in the report, this has been something that's been going on for centuries, not just decades, but centuries. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just go through some comments on this particular discussion and break it down, because I've got a clip from Maya Angelou before where I talked about the aggressive, strong matriarchal in the black community, and it's something that has been documented in the Moynihan report by quotes by Thomas Pettigrew and Whitney Young, and how that reinforces itself over time. Okay, so what I will try and do, I'm just trying to remember things to remember from this clip, is that during this time, because of the civil rights movement and different things like that, the black man wanted to reassert himself so that he would no longer be under this patriarchal structure. As we see from this clip, that black women struggled to let black men lead, because, and Maya Angelou says this, you know, she asserts herself and in this role that history has cast her in. If you want to go look at that video where I juxtapose that with Bianca from The Apprentice in the UK, it's the same thing that's happening in this clip, and it's only exacerbated itself even further. And I think one thing that to mention is that black women didn't choose to be black matriarchs. It was, as I've said before, it was the system of white supremacy that took the strong father figure out of the home through slavery, Jim Crow, and marginalization, like in things like underemployment, going through the mass riots that broke up a lot of places like the Green Wall Street. And in 1956 you can talk about the Federal Highway Act, which went through many black cities or many black towns across America. So again, this wasn't a choice, but it's my understanding through the articles and research that I've done. That since the 1960s, since this time that we've seen from this video, the matriarchal culture is now a choice, because we're no longer under, or they are no longer, should I say, they are no longer under the system of quote-unquote slavery and Jim Crow, because civil rights was established in the 1960s. So what that should have happened is that they should have united with the black man, and therefore started to build more black families. What we see happen is that the black family actually descends into even further chaos, because, as it stated in the Moynihan report, that the will of the Negro people had reasserted itself in this time. And when you look back into the 1960s, you see a marriage rate of over 70%, and that was due to simply for survival and necessity. But once black women were able to get welfare, they were able to get child support, when they were indoctrinated with white feminist thinking, that led to the breakup of the family. And that's a choice that black women unfortunately have made, and that's been to the detriment of black men, to black women, to black children, and most importantly to black families. So what I'll do is I will just talk through some of this again. So basically I put a comment here at the top, and I'll just kind of talk you through this, because basically I go onto the social media posts and start to break this thing down. But I wrote under my social media account, the gynocratic / malformed matriarchal culture that black women insist upon is a choice, because black women are, or I say BW, are no longer under slavery. They have knowledge, they have the knowledge, but so choose the slave master and wife instead of submitting to black men who understand you. And then someone, bumper sticker, says, it's funny because statistically most women of every race works alongside her husband. The majority of marriages both work in every race, and many women of all races make more money than them. It's black man who would rather for the household and kids to struggle because he has to find a way to fight the system financially. And it is really sad because this is indoctrination. When you read the Moynihan report, it tells you categorically that the system is against the black man, which creates situations of unemployment and underemployment. Okay, so it's not down to simply black men to get themselves out of the system. They actually need help, which is what the American society did for the Jews, they did it for the Irish, and they did it for the Italians. And all of those immigrant groups came in after the black men who were under slavery and Jim Crow. And then I responded by saying to bumper sticker saying black women work independently of their men. Okay, so that's the independent nature, which again is from that matriarchal culture. And I said, due to slavery, the strong father figure was non-existent blacks, and this is why what is crucial. All the matriarchal patterns are still with us today. This is why Moynihan Scissors answers this exact comment. For other groups, unemployment down, welfare went up, which makes sense. But in the black community, when unemployment went down, so black men getting jobs, welfare still went up. And this is why they investigated. I think it was an unemployment issue as opposed to a historical and systematic issue. BW had no business to black men, and they've always been in development. And this is why the report is so prophetic. Because even though BW for the last 60 years exacerbated the effects, which is the tangle from the report. And then Tiff1 Fox said, I would have to disagree with this. Most of my friends who are VPs, chief of business owners, work with their men. Some women expect 100% providers. Others prefer a partner. You might have to look towards it and focus. When the woman has a vision, the same. As black men didn't want married, paid in spousal and child support, yet think they're only victims. It's really their partner to need child support and welfare. Okay, so and this is, I'm going to play another clip shortly from another content creator. But there is this myth that goes on where people are actually being very dishonest in terms of these things like black men didn't want to get married or black men left the home. And black men did want to get married, and hence why even today black men have a higher number of marriages and have a smaller population. And this is why I say the black culture is a choice at this current moment in time, because even though you know the system of supremacy is against black men in particular, you should be supporting those men and using those men, creating marriages, and obviously I'll talk about the single motherhood rate in other videos. You can see that black women today are the most they're the least married, so I think they married at least 70%, and then they initiate divorce. So those that do get married, out of that 27%, 80% of them initiate divorce. Okay, you have those statistics and it's because they know that 4 out of 5 of them will break down. And obviously you look into the single motherhood rate where over 61% of black women are single mothers. Which is a crazy statistic. Having children but not getting married, that's a choice. Nobody is forcing black men, and we can go into a little of pathology and why they choose compromised men, because there are a massive group, 54% of black men are single and childless. That means they do not have children, so they are not creating these broken homes. So the men that do not have children and are unmarried are the biggest demographic as black men in black America. Okay, so yeah, still the same conversation. I will put this. I will go into this next section. Oh, did I? Let me see if I think I may have made another comment on this actually. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I did make another comment. And I said this was my comment. I said BWs don't want BMs. So black women don't want black men to be because even the Moynihan report stated that matriarchal pattern that was the result of slavery and Jim Crow silicons the black community and renders them uncompetitive. Black women still think they can lead the community. The matriarch is true and ain't cooked for. white supremacy via welfare and whiteness. Yeah, it's really very hard to kind of have conversations because, as I'm going to show in the next video, they're still saying that the Moynihan report isn't true. And I'm very thank you very much for joining me in this latest episode of Purposeful Patriarchs, just using the media from over 60 years ago to actually show you that the reasons why the black community hasn't moved forward, it's not down to black men not wanting to be fathers, not wanting to be there. And I've got so many videos from people like Accountable Commentary, Student, BGS Ibmore, Kevin Samuels, Maya Angelou, all breaking this stuff down in terms of the mindset of black women at this time and in previous times. I've got books by Sojourner Truth, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. I'm doing research on this. I really want to try and share as much of this material so that we can actually create unity within the black community.